Coach, I mean, we're a couple weeks into practice now. What are some of your overall thoughts and kind of where the team's at?
I thought today, offensively to the open field, in our open field first and second down period, I thought the offense ran the ball much better than what we have run the ball. I thought Matt played super well to the open field. And then when we got down in the red area and we were in a special cat, I thought the defense did a great job. Offensively, we didn't execute very well in the red area. So there's been some positives, some negatives on both sides of the ball. And, offensively, we got to get better in the red. We're making a huge emphasis on red area and third down. And defensively, I didn't think we tackled very well to the open field. So positives, negatives, that's spring football.
I was going to say, I'm sure things ebb and flow. This is kind of the time of the year to make those mistakes, if you will. How do you learn from those, and what do you do moving forward to kind of correct some of those?
Well, we made an emphasis from day one about third down and red, and we'll continue these next 2.5 weeks to continue working on the execution down there. It's a different world in the red area, and we got to stay on the field on third down, and defensively we got to get off the field. So, being the head coach, when the offense does well on third down, you're not happy with the defense. So, it's part of spring football.
As far as we've talked at length about the team being young last year. They're starting to grow, mature, and become more of a cohesive unit as veterans this year. Tell me about the difference between having leadership and then having veteran leadership to kind of take the reins this year.
Yeah, there's no question. I thought the intensity of last Saturday's practice was not. I thought we reverted back to being young. I think these last 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, were very intense, and the leadership of the team stepped up, so it was positive. So you see our team starting to grow, and our leaders are trying to run the locker room opposed to the coaches.
We've talked about the offensive line at length and how they've had to grow old and some of the new guys coming in. How's that unit looking so far?
Just like I said, I thought we ran the ball much better today, and that's a positive about our offensive line and our tight end play. And I think our backs, their pad level is really good right now, and it's really nice to see us running the ball. If we can run the ball, we'll have a chance.
If we can go back to leadership for a second, when you have a handful of new coaches and coaches in new roles, how much does that player continuity and player leadership help those guys get acclimated to what they're doing?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job hiring people that are like-minded, and when we do have someone leave, the next guy steps in, and we hire very similar to the same qualities that the previous guy was. So. The outside linebacker position, we've got a little bit of age there with Blaine and Bryce, so that transition's been easy. And then, at running back, we're extremely young. And I think Brian White has been exceptional with those running backs. They're carrying the ball better, they're understanding their reads, and, besides the offensive line blocking better, the backs are really playing well right now.
Sammy, outside linebacker coaching them, what kind of an impact has he had?
Oh, he's a high-energy guy that does things the right way. That's why we hired him. And he's going to attack recruiting, and he's going to do a great job with those backers.
When it comes down to your tight ends, or Christian obviously coming back, and you have Levi with the baseball team now, tell me about the depth of that position and how that's starting to come into place.
Yeah, that tight end position is critical. It's critical because of special teams, not only tight end play, that body type we need to have good special teams. But they've been playing well. When Levi's been here, he's really getting better. I think Andrew Bench, I thought Andrew Bench had his best practice on Tuesday. Showed some maturity, and when Andrew decides to play hard and have intensity on every single play, he's a really good tight end, and we need to continue to encourage him to be that way rather than 3 plays on, 2 plays off. And if he can get consistent, he's going to be a really good player.
Special teams, the one unit that's had turnover everywhere, basically. New long snapper, new kicker, new punter, Coach Bear. How has he been handling that unit so far, you think?
Yeah, and I'm not sure where we're at in any of that yet. I think we'll have a good idea at the end of spring. It's a super competitive environment right now. But for me to sit here and say who's 1, 2, 3, I can't do that right now.
In terms of, you mentioned competitiveness there with the special teams, but it has to be feeling pretty much everywhere with competitive juices. Urgency for the spring game, players starting to get a little bit excited for that?
Yeah, the spring game has changed so much in terms of, it's at the very end. You want to be smart. I think always the scrimmages prior to that give you a much better idea of what your team is. And whenever you're having a spring game and it's public, you're very, very base and very vanilla. So we'll know a lot from these next couple scrimmages coming up.